So first, scams, sophisticated, but not necessarily because it's sophisticated, but because the people receiving it is so vulnerable. You get this mystery text from ICE, from CBP, from Department of Homeland Security. What are you going to do? You're going to go up to ICE, you're going to go to a police and say, hey, what is this? Is this a scam? Most people who are in an undocumented state, or who are in a pending adjustment status state, or who's like in an F1 international student, immigrants are vulnerable. They are scared. And is without precedent. Last year, we've seen literally thousands of international students, tens of thousands of international students across the country get a text message that says their visa got canceled and they're deportable because what? You know, a 10-year-old traffic ticket. 100% scam, right? No, it was real. So, you know, the government does things so poorly that it looks like a scam. And when scammers do things a little bit better than the government, and it almost looks real. And so the scary thing about these text messages, these flyers, and these phone calls is that they give you name, address, badge number. If you check it out online, it's real. Because scammers also have access to real office badge numbers and officers. So they pretend they are them, get the text, and now what do? If you don't self-deport, if you don't make the payment, you know, your family might be in jeopardy. It's extremely scary. Luckily, our clients was able to just forward it to us. We took a look at it and like, they're asking for money. Haven't seen any public policy about this. We researched AILA, we researched CBP website, we researched ICE website. Doesn't seem like this is what the government is doing. If they are doing it, there would have been an announcement. Moreover, there would have been a big revolt within the immigrant community as well as in the immigrant community. And so because of that, we said ignore it. And we found out it was a scam. But if we didn't give up that advice, what if they kept on talking on the phone? And what if they get scared? And then what if they did send that gift card? What if they did like actually wire the money over, right? They're not asking for much, $25 to $250. But I mean, the people who are receiving these are so vulnerable. These immigrants, especially if language is more restricted, it's a very scary time. The criminals are definitely taking advantage of the chaos that's within the immigrant community. And so we just want to warn everyone. If you receive any sort of email, phone call, text message, especially if it's directly asking for money, don't respond. If they're not asking for money, double check if this is legitimate. Don't respond either, because if you respond like, who are you? They know that the number is real, and they might keep on contacting you, right? Don't be surprised if they know your phone number, your name, your family's name, because a lot of that is public information. It's very sophisticated. A lot of leaks have happened in the past few years, right? Passwords and things like that. So don't be surprised that they know who you are. Don't respond, and definitely double check. Because most of the time, a real notice comes from USCIS.
In the mail.
In the mail, with a formal USCIS notice saying there's a court hearing, right? But there's a formal notice, notice of intent to appear. Somebody texting you and calling you and asking for money, definitely fake. Just because they give you badge number and office number doesn't mean it's real.
I've been through like a personal situation where they called and they gave me the name of someone that is my relative, saying that they were arrested in Tulare County. This was like 10:30 p.m. one day, and they called and they said, hey, did you know that such and such person has been arrested and is being held at the detention center in Tulare County? It's just so happens that I do have a family member that matches that name. So these people that are calling you are going through your like family history, and they have like high levels of like looking up your information so that they know how to like, you know, like grip you into like giving information. And so I think I remembered a while back when we were talking about this back in maybe like a few years ago, you had mentioned if they ever call you, ask for a callback number. Because they have to have, if you're calling from a government office, then you have to have a callback number, you have to have extension, and get a name and a badge number. So, you know, the first instinct should always be like double checking, like you're saying, but much more important when they are doing the investigation to make sure that they connect you to someone that you're already related to.
One pro tip, and it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. Answer a question with a question. If they ask you a question or they make a statement, you question it. Never confirm or deny anything. Because scammers, they want information from you. Maybe they couldn't get your money, But if they know you are now connected with them and this person did get detained because it's public record, now they know how to contact you more, right? And they can find out where you live. You know, like if you go to LexisNexis, if you go to any government agency, you can probably find out all your relatives and all the key information. And so there's so much data bank that's online to track people down. And so scammers are out there. I hate scammers, but they are there and they're taking advantage of people. And so if there's anything you take away, it's that scammers are getting more sophisticated while the government's, you know, standard of professional conduct is decreasing. So it's really hard to tell them apart. And the situations are so absurd, you know, that people can be detained and suddenly nobody knows and no notice. It just seems like the rule of law is breaking down. So criminality is on the rise, taking advantage of the most vulnerable people who are afraid to go to the police. So you have to protect yourself.
And then if you have an attorney, right, like for our clients, we always say, because you do have an attorney on record, if the government were to contact, they don't only contact you directly, they are supposed to go to your attorney as well. So that's another thing, like, to keep in mind. If you get this phone call, if you get this text, it's like, you know, always check with your attorney, because somehow they need to contact us as well. And usually, you know, as of today, we don't have a form of contacting the government through text or phone call. I mean, there are lines that you can call, but it's usually automated lines. It's not, you know, like a live person taking the time to call or pick up the phone. So I think it's important, like, for any person with a pending case with immigration, is like, contact your lawyer if you have a lawyer. So yeah.
And definitely don't joke around, right? Like, let's say you're saying, like, you know, you think they're a scammer and you start saying you're a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
What if it was the government actually calling you and now they have it on record that you claim to be a citizen? That will be a nightmare, right? So don't make any statements in the positive or in the negative. Question them, because if they're scammers, they're on the clock. They have to scam 10 people per day. You know, if you're taking up too much time, you know, they're not going to get their quota. So if they hang up, that's a pretty good sign that was a scam, right? But definitely be careful out there.